Hello, and welcome to another edition of Dice Masters at Docs. This is your host, Ryan Slater, and tonight I'll be bringing you a Guardians of the Galaxy draft event. Tonight, our first match will be against myself and Todd Pula. Let's take a quick look at my team first. So, here you will see that I was running the common Agent Venom losing control. This one has Call Out. Then I was running the Nova Corp uniform, One Mind, One Purpose, another common. Just another cheap 2 cost that can give my guy some boost. Then I had a 3 cost Black Widow Red Scare, the common, again another call out character. The call outs was planning on using these for getting characters on the other side out of the way, forcing them to block and try to get other things through. Then next I had Gamora Disowned, a common Guardians character. Not too much here other than the fact that she was a Guardians is what I was hoping for on this team. Followed by Groot, Force of Nature, the common. The global on here was somewhat nice for me. The fact that also all my Guardians characters was going to be protected. If you haven't guessed so far, this was going to be field a bunch of field a bunch of Guardians and get Yando out in the field with Warlock and deal a bunch of damage. So then next Nova Prime, yet again another Guardian. This was the bearer of the Worldmond, the uncommon. Warlock, the being known as him, the common. This would get Yando's ability to cycle twice. And then, of course, Yando, Ruthless Pirate, the uncommon. So that for whenever he's fielded, my opponent takes 1 damage for each active Guardian character I have. For my basic actions, I decided to run the Big Entrance and Truce. Big Entrance was a good mesh for this team. If I was able to get it on an action, it would get some of my 4 and 3 cost characters to be lower. If I got it on the energy, it'd allow for me to easily reach into the 5 cost Warlock or Yando. And then Truce was going to be my method for cycling out Yando, as unfortunately I was only able to draft 1 die for him. So that was going to be my backup method for keeping Yando cycling. So next, let's look at my opponent's team, Todd. He was running the Kyln Pangalactic Prison, the common, Cosmic Cube, Beyond Imagination, the uncommon, Sword Agent, Earth Beyond, Eyes Beyond Earth, the common, Daisy Johnson, Good Vibrations, the common, Madame Masque, Nefaria's Schemes, the uncommon, Quasar, Might of the Quantum Band, the uncommon, Star-Lord, Let's Dance, the uncommon, and Hulk, Calculated Devastation, common. For basic actions, he was running Reclaim and the Front Line. His idea here was to get the Kyln out to oppress his opponent from getting any characters. Using Cosmic Cube to try to get some front lines, and work his way up to getting Hulk or Star-Lord and getting him across, doing some massive damage. He did have Madame Masque there. While active, your opponent's when-fielded abilities do not trigger, so this was a big threat for me on this one going in. So let's begin the match, and we'll begin by rolling to see who goes first. And Todd wins the roll-off, so he gets to choose. And he's going to choose me to go first. So we're going to have to wait just a little bit here as we wait for the other participants of the draft to get ready before we start the timer. We ended up with 10 people at the draft, so it was a very good turnout for our local store. We're very happy with that. We had 2 new players show up to the event. So good to see some new faces and get some more people playing the game. Alright, and we begin, and I end up with a bolt shield, and go ahead and go straight for the big entrance, putting that in my bag and ending my turn. And so now Todd rolls a fist, mask, shield, and a sidekick. I'm going to figure out what to re-roll here, what to keep. Ends up re-rolling and ends up with a fist, mask, shield out of it. Goes ahead and goes straight for the Kyln out of the gate there. So trying to put the pressure on fast and early. I'm going to have to change my buy order, and ends up buying a S.W.O.R.D agent. So passes turn to me, and I end up, let's see what I pull here. I get 3 sidekicks there and 1 big entrance, and end up with a bolt, mask, a sidekick, and 2 energy. Gonna re-roll and end up with a bolt, mask, and 2 energy. So looked like I was going to go for the item Warlock there, then I decided it would be better to go for the Yando straight up. So Todd ends up with a mask, shield, sidekick, and a question mark. Trying to figure out what he wants to keep, what he wants to re-roll here. So I needed to verify, did the Cosmic Cube, or sorry, the Kyln, did that cover action as well? So he ends up re-rolling with a mask, shield, question mark. Ends up buying a Cosmic Cube, and he was trying to verify real fast if the Kyln stacks, which at the time of this we were ruling that it does. We haven't heard any rulings otherwise, so ends up with a Kyln. Again, really hoping to put that pressure on me to keep me from being able to get too many of my guys. So I'm going to have to make a mad scramble to get as many Guardians as I can quickly here. And end up with a fist, mask, and a shield. So I also know his pretty soon here he's going to be going for one of those Madam Masks. So I want to reach for one of my call-out characters, try to keep her under oppression and keep her going. So I go ahead and go with one of my Agent Venoms. Pass turn and or pass priority and end my turn, and Todd ends up with 2 sidekicks, a Kyln, and a Cosmic Cube for his dice, and ends up rolling a fist, a question mark, and action face on both the Kyln and Cosmic Cube. So, again, this is the Cosmic Cube where your first action die costs 1 less and all other action dice cost 3 less. So he goes ahead and puts the Kyln in action, or fields the Kyln, putting that into effect, uses Cosmic Cube, and uses his remaining 2 energy to buy one of the big entrances, of course putting that straight into his bag. And that will end his turn. So now back to me, and I get 3 sidekicks and a Yando. And I end up with a bolt, shield, and question mark. So I'm torn here to push to get the Yando in the field and do some damage to him, or do I try to keep the energy and purchase another character? Currently, the only character he's purchased is a S.W.O.R.D agent, so I'm going to end up keeping the Yando for energy and go with a purchase. And if he does end up getting that S.W.O.R.D agent, I'll end up having to just eat that damage. And go ahead and grab for a Groot there out of it. And Todd ends up with 3 sidekicks in the big entrance and ends up with a fist, shield, mask, and 2 energy. Again, the main thing he needs to go for at this point is that Madam Masque, as my win condition is based on a when fielded capabilities. He's got the counter there for it. He's going to go ahead and re-roll big entrance, hoping that he was going to be able to get it straight into the bag, but he kept up with the 2 energy. So again, the Fist, Shield, Masque, and 2. Just going to leave the Fist and go ahead and purchase the Madam Masque. And he passes turn to me. And I have a sidekick and big entrance in my bag, recycle, and end up with 2 more sidekicks. And end up with a bolt, shield, question mark, and action on the big entrance. So do I go, the thought I have here is, do I keep pushing for the Adam Warlock, or do I go for something else? And I'm going to try to get the double energy there and get the Adam Warlock. Easy decision once I see that too. That gets the other half of my win con purchased. So Todd ends up with a fist, double shields, and a sidekick there with a Kyln and S.W.O.R.D agent. Rerolls the sidekick and keeps it as a sidekick, so not very happy for him there. He was really hoping to get 1 more energy and reach for that Hulk and put a real big body out there against me, put the pressure on. Ends up spinning down the Kyln to a single shield, spending the rest of his fist and buying a Star-Lord. And just the wording he used caught me off guard on this one, so I was just asking him what he meant by that. And it was just one of those too many things going on at one time, and just not paying close enough attention. So I apologize to Todd. Was not trying to think he was doing something wrong. Literally just wasn't quite paying attention. And he fields a sidekick and attacks with a sidekick, not wanting to keep anything in the field so that he doesn't have to pay the increased purchasing cost there. So passes to me and end up here with a bolt, Masque, shield. So I've got the Yando and the Agent Venom possibilities here. Going to go ahead and re-roll the 2 of those, hoping to get some characters and end up with a level 3 on the Agent Venom and a level 2 on the Yando. So go ahead and field the Agent Venom first. That'll give me an extra Guardian out in the field. Field the Yando, dealing him 2 damage. And so now I have to decide whether or not I'm going to attack or leave those. And as Yando's a when fielded, I definitely need to attack with them. And being able to do 10 damage to him is just too much of a opportunity to pass up. So go ahead and declare attacks with both of them, dealing 10 damage. And end my turn. So a big round there for me. Todd pulls a single sidekick from his bag and recycles here. And gets 2 more sidekicks in the Kyln out of it, and ends up rolling a fist, shield, and action on the Kyln. So now the Kyln is hurting him more than it's hurting me at this point. I've been able to purchase everything I've needed. I've got everything I need for my win condition purchased, so he's debating on whether or not he wants to purchase that other Kyln or not. Or does he want to try to convert it to energy and try to purchase one of his guys? He's going to try to convert it to energy and ends up with a shield. So fist, shield. ends up spending 3 energy there for a Daisy Johnson and ends his turn. So I end up pulling, look like 3 sidekicks and a Groot there, and end up with a Bolt, Shield, and a sidekick. And I end up with a re-rolling the sidekick and the Groot, and end up with a Bolt, Shield, and a sidekick. So same outcome for me. And gonna spend 3 for a Truce and field the sidekick and pass priority and then declare attack with the sidekick. Again, trying to keep my field as thin as possible. I know Todd has a couple of characters coming up here, but end up S.W.O.R.D agent, Star-Lord, and Cube in a sidekick here. Ends up rolling Fist, Masque, Cosmic Cube on the action face, and the S.W.O.R.D agent at level 3. So it's going to try to convert that S.W.O.R.D agent, or convert the Star-Lord over as well, it looks like, and re-roll the Cosmic Cube for the fielding energy. Gets the Star-Lord at level 3, but does not have the energy needed to field him. Cosmic Cube kept up the action. So he's only going to be able to field one of his characters this turn. So he's going to go ahead and field the only one possible for him, that S.W.O.R.D agent at level 3. He'll, of course, activate the Cosmic Cube, but has no energy left to do anything with it, so he passes priority and ends turn. And I had nothing in my bag, so recycle everything from used back in. And get Truce and 3 sidekicks. So not exactly when I was hoping for that Truce to show up, but we'll try to make it work and end up here with a Bolt, Fist, Masque, and 2 energy. So now I know at this point it's a race for me to try to get Adam Warlock and Yando back out into the field and trigger one more time before that Madam Masque shows up. Otherwise, I really do need to get Agent Venom out, or purchase a Black Widow and get her out. So I'm going to end up re-rolling everything and end up with a Bolt, question mark, and 2 generic energy here. I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 for Gamora and leave 2 bolts there and pass turn over to Todd. He ends up here with his Madam Masque and 3 sidekicks and ends up with Fist, Shield, Masque, and Madam Masque at level 3. So he's going to set aside that Fist for fielding cost 4, re-roll the other 2, and ends up with a total of a Fist, Masque, Shield, and that Madam Masque at level 3. So he's going to be able to get that Madam Masque out and really start killing me as far as the win condition, my win condition goes. Luckily, I've done enough damage to him at this point that with my call-out characters, I'm hoping I can battle through this. But now I'm in serious need of getting some characters back out in the field as he's started to build up his wall. So my purchasing days are pretty much over at this point. So he purchases a Reclaim and fields the Madam Masque, and now he's debating whether or not to attack. Again, keeping that Madam Masque in the field is a strong priority for him, so he goes ahead and decides to keep both of them and declare no attacks. So my turn. End up with Groot, big entrance, and 2 sidekicks there with a Fist, sidekick, 2 energy, and Groot at level 1. So we sending the Groot aside, knowing I want to field him. Gonna reroll everything else and end up with a Bolt, Fist, and 2 energy, again with the Groot at level 1. So he's gonna field for free for me, 0 fielding cost. I'm gonna spend 3 to get a Black Widow, so I've got a another call out character. And I will end my turn. And sidekick and big entrance, recycle his bag so he can get the other 2, and ends up with Daisy Johnson and Cosmic Cube with a question mark, 2 energy, shield, and action face on the cube there. So if he decides to keep that energy, he's going to be able to purchase several good basic actions this turn with the reduced costs of the Cosmic Cube there. So. And again, the Kyln does not modify the cost of action dice. It only modifies the cost of character dice. So with the Cosmic Cube, he's going to be able to do quite a bit of damage there, purchase-wise. Spins down the Daisy Johnson, purchases a Reclaim for the 1 less. Now everything else is 3 less. So he's going to spend 2 for a Frontline. And 1 more to purchase a Truce. That ends thinking about attacking there with the S.W.O.R.D agent, but he's not sure. He decides not to, so he ends turn, passes priority to me. And I end up with Yando or Adam Warlock, Yando, and 2 sidekicks, and end up rolling sidekick, and level 3 for both Adam Warlock and Yando. So I'm going to set aside the Adam Warlock, reroll everything else, and end up here with a Fist, question mark, Bolt, and of course the Adam Warlock on level 3. So seeing him on that level 3 face with the 6/6 was very nice. I knew once I was able to get some more of my call-out characters out there, I was going to be able to try to force through and deal that damage to him. So go ahead and field the Adam Warlock and spend the other 2 for a Nova Corp uniform. And I will pass priority and end my turn. 4 sidekicks here for Todd, and we end up with a Bolt, Fist, Masque, and question mark. Trying to figure out what to do here. Keeps a question mark, rerolls everything else, ends up with 2 masks, 2 question marks out of this. So and he goes ahead and spends 3 for a Truce. Again, he knows that's one of my primary methods for cycling that Yando, and it's going to force him to get things out, so he's trying to take those away from me. It leaves the 1 energy. I pull my Agent Venom and a sidekick, and that's the end of my bag, so recycle, and then I'll pull the 2 and end up with a Yando and Black Widow. So This could be a good turn for me here. Could get what I need, and end up with a bolt, double bolts, double fist, and a mask. So not what I was hoping for. Reroll and end up with 3 bolts, Agent Venom on level 1 and Black Widow on level 2. And at this point, I think both Todd and I both realize I've got everything I need to win here. I'll be fielding both Black Widow and Agent Venom, using their call-out abilities on his 2 characters, because those are, of course, 1 attacks and not covered by Madame Masque. And that'll leave the Atom Warlock with a 6 attack and the Groot with 1 attack coming through for the 7 remaining damage. So, all in, and that's the game. Thank you for watching, folks.